Hey vinyl community, Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records, and I've got some VCLT I'd like to show you, and I'll show you a few of my recent purchases. Thought some of you might find somewhat interesting. First of all, if you don't subscribe to George Allen vinyl LPs and CDs, I highly recommend his channel. He's got a wide range of music he shows, and I've been watching his channel for a while. He contacted me recently, wanted my address, and I got this great note from him telling me that he had some records that he decided he was going to cull out of his collection. And is that the right word? Culling out of his collection, and trying to think of people in the VC that might appreciate those records, stuff that he just didn't listen to anymore, and thought others may pay a little more attention to. And so he sent me a CD and an album, and I'm just really excited about. And as I said, a very nice note here about them. And the first is an LP, Leslie Keith, Black Mountain Blues. And this is a fiddle album. I don't know much or anything about Leslie Keith, but it's my understanding he played with he played with some pretty prominent people. There's a picture here of him on stage with Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys. So I love fiddle albums, and I think George figured that out because I had featured some albums I had purchased recently from fiddlers, and so he sent me that, and I'm looking forward. I hadn't had a chance to spin it yet. I'm looking forward to spinning it. Just got it yesterday in the mail. And the other thing he sent me, he knows I am just the biggest Doc Watson fan, and he sent me this CD, this Doc and Merle Watson CD, which I did not have. This is Sitting Here Picking the Blues with Doc and Merle, and I'm just excited as I can be. I listen to, it's on Rounder Records. I listen to CDs in the car. I've still got an old vehicle. It's got a CD player in it, which works out great. So this is going into my car, and I'll probably listen to it over and over again for the next month or so. So, George, I appreciate the great kindness you showed toward me with this VCLT. I greatly appreciate it, and I look forward to listening. Now, George said that he'd been listening less to the bluegrass and acoustic music and more to the jazz recently. So I thought that was interesting because I've got some jazz to show you, because I too am listening to more jazz than I've ever listened to before in my life, thanks in no small part, almost completely thanks to the vinyl community turning me on to so much. So I'm going to go through some records I recently purchased. Now, there was, some of you know, a auction before Christmas to raise money for a homeless shelter, and I bought 5 albums on there. 4 of them have come in from 3 different people. One's still out there, but it's on the way. If you haven't noticed, the Postal Service has been overwhelmed over the Christmas holidays, and the other one's coming all the way from California to North Carolina, so it takes a long time. I've also got some records that I ordered on Discogs that have been sitting somewhere and just sitting in a warehouse in New Jersey, a postal warehouse in New Jersey, and haven't moved since the 19th of December. So eventually somebody's going to get to the bottom of a big pile of postage, and it's going to get to me. So I'm not worried about it. It's coming. But one of the records I got was Revolver. We never see this album, do we? Or this band's never mentioned on the VC. But I had right many of their records, but I did not have Revolver, and I don't have Rubber Soul. So eventually I'll find a good copy of Rubber Soul and get it. Of course, this is the band that shall remain unnamed. But that's an Australian pressing, I think from maybe 88 or something like that, I'm not sure. And I was mentioning jazz a minute ago. This was also got from the auction, and I don't really know the artist, but I know some of the artists playing on it. Evolution and Garson Moncure III. Now, I didn't know anything about Garson Moncure III, but he plays the trombone. Lee Morgan's on the trumpet. Jackie McLean's alto sax. And I know Morgan and McLean by name and have listened and have a little bit of their work. Bobby Hutcherson on the vibes. I like this album. The vibes take a little getting used to from me. I've never been vibes just haven't been an instrument that really appeals to me. But used in the proper context, I'm sure it's great, and I've listened to this album 3 times, I believe. So this first time, it was like the vibes just took away from it to me, because I kept hearing the vibes. Oh, why are those vibes in there? And the second time, not so much. And the third time, it was like just a part of the whole palette of music, and it didn't distract anymore for me. And speaking of Lee Morgan, another I got at that auction, and this is only, I understand, only played once or twice. Lee Morgan's The Cooker, Blue Note 81 578, and there's a little something in here. The outer sleeve that it came on, it says this is a Blue Note tone poet. So this is a tone poet. I didn't realize that, but I'm looking forward to. Just got this today, so I'm looking forward to listening to that. And the other from that person at the auction is a sealed copy of Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are You Experienced? And of course, this is the one that's got all the great Purple Haze and Hey Joe and Are You Experienced, Foxy Lady, The Wind Chimes Merry. So, I don't have any Jimi Hendrix until now. So I'm glad to get that one. And I also have bought some stuff on my own. I bought 3 albums from this band. I've shown this on a couple of live streams, so I figured I'll just show one of the albums. But I bought 3 from Southern Culture on the Skids. And this is called Bootlegger's Choice. Great albums by a great psych, surf, rockabilly, roots, rock, country band. If that gives you any idea, they're all over the place. And I got a recommendation of a particular seller. I was a little hesitant to pull the trigger on this from Discogs, but I talked to Eric Weinbender, and he told me that the seller in Greenville was a brick and mortar store, cabin floor, and that I could trust in that seller that I'm going to get a good quality product and it's going to be shipped well, so on and so forth. And this is one that's hard to find on vinyl. There were only a few copies out there sealed, and even less that out there for sale. And this is Elizabeth Cotton, Folk Songs and Instrumentals with Guitar. I wanted to show this book I got for Christmas that I hadn't started reading, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great read. Any you Birds fans or Flying Burrito Brothers fans, you probably enjoy this one. Time Between My Life as a Bird, Burrito Brother, and Beyond, Chris Hillman. I was real happy to get this album. This book, and it just came out. It's autobiography. I'm really looking forward to reading that. And then I spotted some nice deals on Amazon that I couldn't resist taking advantage of over the Christmas holiday. Spend a little of my Christmas money, and these remasters of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. This is the James Guthrie, Joel Platt, and Bernie Grumman remastered from the original analog. Of course, they used digital technology, I think, but they did use the original analog, they said. But, of course, you know, classic. You know, you see me showing this sort of stuff, and you're going, wait a minute, that's not roots rock or country or whatever, but I like all kinds of stuff. And they did the same thing with the wall. Now, the Pink Floyd was only $26 on Amazon. The wall was regularly $44, reduced to $31. And I wonder, you know, how much I would have had to have paid had I bought a used copy that was in VG Plus condition of the wall. Probably a lot. And here in this pandemic, I've tried to be real safe about it, but I did go into the charity thrift a few blocks from my house today, and I picked up, they used to be 25 cents, and somehow somebody told them that was too cheap, and they've gone up to $1. And they didn't have anything there. But I picked up these two, so $2.14 total. Gene Shepard and Ray Pillow, country music artists from the 1970s. I love the title, and I love the cover there, and it's a real clean copy. I look forward to cleaning this up and playing it. And it is I'll Take the Dawg. I'll Take the Dawg. Great. I don't know any of the songs on here, but there's a title track, and you know, but I'm not familiar. I know the two artists, but I'm not familiar with any of the songs on there. And here's one you see all the time. Jamie Records, Dwayne Eddy and his twangy guitar. Have twang guitar will travel. That's about as common a record as you'll ever see right there, isn't it? But it's good. I love that twangy guitar, Dwayne Eddy, surf guitar and that sort of thing. All right. So there's just a few odds and ends I thought I'd share with you. I also want to enter a contest that I saw posted today, and so a couple other things I'd like to get taken care of in the VC. But until then, I'll say remember to be kind to your neighbors, because folks, when it gets right down to it, we're all neighbors.